IMSA is back. The off-season is officially over, and the North American Series is preparing to begin another extraordinary season of racing. The main WeatherTech series brings forward some exciting new and returning entries for what promises to be an action-packed year of racing. And over on the support series side of things, an entirely new class is coming to life to a certain championship. So this is a complete breakdown regarding everything that you need to know about IMSA in 2025. The International Motorsports Association, more commonly referred to as IMSA, is heading into its 55th season since completing its first GT championship in 1971 with IMSA sanctioned events. IMSA was established in 1969 by John Bishop and his wife Peggy, with help from Bill France Sr. from NASCAR. Over the years, IMSA became very popular, especially with the arrival of the Group C regulations and the competitive GT entries. And as the years went on, the series continued to flourish, becoming the best sports car endurance racing series in North America. However, IMSA went through a difficult stage in the late 1990s, where the racing was effectively separated. The takeover from Don Panos resulted in the creation of the American Le Mans Series, which was connected with the ACO, and the now iconic race of Petit Le Mans. ALMS continued to provide excellent sports car action in North America, with LMP1 cars even racing for overall victory, with cars like the Audi R10 TDI and Peugeot 908 HDI FAP racing in events like the 12 Hours of Sebring, for example, while the venue of the Rolex 24 at Daytona was housed within the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series for a short while. In 2014, though, IMSA was revived, following the merger of the American Le Mans Series and the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series, and ever since, the North American organization has continued to grow and evolve, which subsequently has provided some of the best action we've ever seen in sports car endurance racing across the globe, which therefore brings us to where we are today. So with the history segment now out of the way, let's get into what comes next in 2025. This season, IMSA will have 8 championships present, with the main series continuing to be the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. The supporting series continue to include the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge and the Michelin Pilot Challenge, with a few one-make championships following, which include the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Championship, the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, the Ferrari Challenge North America, and finally the all-new Mustang Challenge introduced in 2024. And for more details on these individual championships, check out this video here listed out on screen. For the main WeatherTech series, there will be 4 kinds of cars racing out on track, and they'll be separated into 4 different classes, which are GTP, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD. GTP sees cars using the LMH and LMDH regulations this year, where LMP2 sees cars using the P2 regulations, and finally the GT Daytona classes will see GT3 cars racing this season. And all the cars competing in 2025 will be the same ones that were allowed to race in the previous year. It's also worth noting that after being dropped from the main series after 2023, the LMP3 class will not return for the second year in a row for this upcoming year. However, the P3 cars will continue to race in the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge, as they headline the championship and fight for overall victory. As for the car manufacturers participating in IMSA's WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, the 2025 season will feature a total of 11 car brands, which include Aston Martin, Acura, BMW, Cadillac, Chevrolet, Ferrari, Ford, Lamborghini, Lexus, Mercedes, and finally Porsche. One brand that's noticeably absent from the 2025 grid will be McLaren, as 0720S GT3 Evos will be competing this year, although McLaren is expected to be represented on the support series grids. Meanwhile, when it comes to Acura, they will be on the grid in GTP once again. However, the California-based manufacturer is no longer represented on the GT grids by their NSX GT3 Evo 22, as the car has retired from IMSA action. A very exciting car coming in 2025 though is the new Valkyrie AMR LMH, which will allow Aston Martin to appear in GTP for the first time in history, and the car will be making its IMSA debut at the 12 Hours of Sebring. This iteration of Aston Martin's latest prototype car will feature a carbon fiber chassis, no hybrid component unlike the road variant, and a Cosworth-built 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine. The 2025 WeatherTech season will include an 11-race calendar, beginning with the Rolex 24 at Daytona and ending of course with Motul Petit Le Mans. The first two events, which are the biggest in IMSA, feature the Rolex 24 at Daytona taking place on January 25th and 26th, with the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring coming next on March 15th. Then comes the start of the sprint races, with the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach happening on April 12th, followed by the second California round of the Motul Corse de Monterrey at Laguna Seca on May 11th. And then comes the Detroit Grand Prix, taking place on May 30th. The next big IMSA race happens on June 29th, which is the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen, happening at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, followed by a GTP excluded event at CTMP, which is the Chevrolet Grand Prix, where LMP2 cars will compete for overall victory. The return of the GTPs will come a few weeks later on August 3rd at Road America, where the IMSA Sports Car Weekend takes place. The GT-only event on the calendar will take place during the same month, which is the Michelin GT Challenge at VIR, and the cars will race on August 24th. Finally, the last two races are bigger events, where all four classes will be present. The TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks at Indy will take place on September 21st, where the round at Road Atlanta of Motul Petit Le Mans will conclude the season on October 11th. The calendar consists of 5 Michelin Endurance Cup rounds, which includes Daytona, Sebring, Watkins Glen, Indianapolis, and finally Road Atlanta. As for the calendar clashes, there are 3 major ones that I want to point out. The first one is for Round 4 at Laguna Seca, which takes place on May 11th, and that will clash with the WEC's third round of the season at Spa-Francorchamps, taking place the day before on May 10th. Next is IMSA's 6th round of Watkins Glen, taking place on June 29th, and that will clash with the Intercontinental GT race of the 24 Hours of Spa happening on the same weekend. Then later on in July, Round 7 at CTMP will happen on the exact same day of July 13th of the WEC's 6-hour endurance race in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Taking a break from the WeatherTech Championship, and a class that I really want to point out heading into 2025 is GTDX, as the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge is getting a brand new category, which features cars using the GT3 regulations, meaning that, for example, the Ferrari 296 that's racing in the WeatherTech series will be the same kind of car from the Italian manufacturer that races over in the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge. So far, only 3 kinds of GT3 cars have entered into this new category. This includes the Porsche 911 GT3R, the BMW M4 GT3 Evo, and finally the Ferrari 296 GT3 that I mentioned a moment ago. So the action across IMSA in 2025 is going to be absolutely thrilling. But before I conclude this season preview, there is one major factor that's imperative to know, and that is how to watch IMSA racing live. Well, almost all IMSA competition will continue to be broadcasted in the United States of America on the Peacock streaming service, as well as on the USA Network, and the broadcast will be presented by NBC Sports. Meanwhile, outside the US, the majority of folks can watch the action on IMSA TV and on their official YouTube channel, and that will be a coverage from IMSA. We'll also be doing a watch party of every single IMSA race here on this YouTube channel. And if you can't watch the action live, don't worry, because the full race replays will be available on IMSA Official, and that YouTube channel will be linked in the description down below. So that concludes this season preview, and I'm interested to know if you're excited for the start of the new season of IMSA, and who will you be supporting in 2025? Well, make sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like endurance racing, definitely subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I'm releasing videos on a weekly basis regarding the WEC, IMSA, Intercontinental GT, and much more. To watch more content now, check out these suggested videos I've put on screen. For now though, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.